Straight ahead on WBKB News at 11, a benefit was held today in honor of a Posen man battling cancer. Plus, the Michigan DNR has announced figures from its efforts to manage cormorants in several parts of Michigan. And today wrapped up the Thunder Bay Classic sled dog race held in Alpena. We'll have those stories plus your local weather and sports. WBKB News at 11 starts now.
From Rogers City to Tawas City and all points in between, this is Northeast Michigan's award-winning news team. Your source for news, weather, and sports. We are WBKB News at 11.
One Posen man has had a long journey in his pursuit to battle cancer, and a benefit was held today in his honor. Good evening, I'm Ashley Reed. Donald Weckworth has been battling cancer for quite some time, and it hasn't been an easy battle for him or his family. Today, his family held a benefit spaghetti dinner to help with the medical expenses during his treatment. They say Weckworth doesn't like to ask for help, but this is something they wanted to do for him. He has to make the journey from Posen to Alpena every other week for treatment, although it used to be every day, Monday through Friday.
Cancer is a bad disease that takes lives when they're really young, and we're trying to help him out and handle it and take care of him so that he has a will to live.
The benefit was a huge success. The family sold over 300 dinner tickets. They also had 112 items donated for their Chinese raffle and 86 donated for the live auction. There was also a 50-50 raffle. Weckworth's family says they're so thankful for all of the community support. People traveled from all over Northeast Michigan to attend the benefit. And the Michigan Department of Natural Resources has announced figures for its efforts with federal partners to manage cormorants in several parts of Michigan. Cormorants are large diving birds that for years anglers have observed feeding in their favorite fishing spots. In 2003, the federal government enacted an order to conduct cormorant management. Since that time, Wildlife Services has expanded its operations to include efforts at Thunder Bay and Alpena. For the past several years, these statewide efforts have removed up to 10,000 birds per year from certain fishing areas. Michigan DNR fisheries biologist Steve Scott said, in quote, "We are seeing some very encouraging results in fisheries at several locations, and anglers are reporting improvements. We are very pleased with the progress we are making through our partnership with Wildlife Services." Cormorant nesting populations have been reduced anywhere from 54 to 94% at peak nesting counts at targeted locations. In colonies where management efforts have been conducted, the estimated cormorant nest count in Michigan waters has gone from more than 23,000 in 2007 to less than 10,000 in 2013. Fisheries surveys have shown an increase in sports fish populations in these areas. Racers from all over Michigan travel to Alpena this weekend for the Thunder Bay Classic sled dog race. The event is put on by the Mid-Union Sled Haulers, a nonprofit organization dedicated to dog sledding on an amateur basis. Today was the final day of the two-day event consisting of dog sledding, weight pulling, ski juring, which is where the dogs pull someone on skis, and the 100-yard dash. The free event was held at the Alpena Sportsman's Club, and spectators were welcome.
It brings people into town. We got people staying at the motels. They're spending money here in Alpena, and brings them up here, shows them what Alpena has.
The race has been going on since 2009. However, there hasn't been enough snow the past 2 years, so organizers say this year it was a big deal. And make sure you stay tuned for sports. Jeff Kolb will tell you about two local sisters who participated in the races this weekend. Another event back in action this weekend after not having enough snow the last couple years. The Alpena Optimists and Alpena Boosters held their 6th annual snowmobile fun run. Nearly 60 snowmobiles took off from Optimist Acres yesterday around 9 o'clock. The snowmobilers traveled about 110 miles, going through Hillman, Atlanta, Hawks, and Millersburg, then ending back in Alpena for food and prizes.
Today we had enough snow. It was cold weather, but it was nice and sunny day. It was beautiful, just absolutely beautiful out there.
Killewald says every year they hope for the event to get a little bigger. He thanks the community and says without all of the sponsors, this fun run, along with all of the great door prizes, wouldn't be possible. Prizes included helmets, coats, shirts, and much more. The cost per rider was $15. All proceeds from the event go toward both the Boosters Club and the Optimist Club. Lots of local businesses and books at the Aplex yesterday for the 2014 Business Expo and Book Sale. People were lined up waiting for the doors to open for this 15th annual event hosted by the Alpena News. 41 area businesses showcased the services and products they have to offer. There were guest speakers throughout the event that talked about their businesses and were available for any questions. All of the vendors also donated prizes that were given away.
It gives you the opportunity to talk to a lot of different businesses without having to drive from store to store to store to store. And it's all in one location. You can walk through, talk to the people from Home Depot about your home improvements that you might want to do, stop and see AT&T about wireless service. I mean, there's just such a diverse cross-section of the business community for people to visit.
In addition to the Business Expo was the Newspapers and Education Book Sale. The books were donated from all over the community. LOY Elementary School donated more than 2,000 books after holding a school-wide book drive. All proceeds help to cover the cost of newspapers to area schools. The Alpena News donates newspapers to about 13 schools on a daily basis. Coming up next on WBKB News at 11, President Obama was in Lansing Friday to sign the Agriculture Act of 2014. Plus, Google is quickly gaining on the world's most valuable company. Find out who they just passed in the rankings. Thanks for joining us. In state news, President Obama arrived in Lansing Friday and signed the Agriculture Act of 2014. He spoke on details of his new Made in Rural America plan that will help American farmers and rural businesses boost their exports. Those in the crowd included farmers, people from MSU, and state politicians. An honored guest chosen to introduce the president was Ben LaCrosse, a Michigan cherry farmer. Reporter Joe Khalil explains.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce the President of the United States of America, Barack Obama.
Words nobody in attendance here at MSU will soon forget hearing. But what was it like to actually say those words?
It's sort of surreal. You never sort of dreamed that you'd ever get the chance to say something like that.
Ben LaCrosse is a Michigan cherry farmer chosen to introduce the president. He's worked closely with Senator Stabenow on the Farm Bill.
This is a really neat opportunity to start the process and be able to participate in the final bill signing.
The moment was also special for Ben's son Keaton, who was a little starstruck meeting Mr. Obama.
First he said, "What was your name?" And I was like, "What?" And then he said it again, "What's your name?" And I said, "Keaton."
And I think as these people leave, what they're going to take with them is not necessarily what was said in the speech, but the fact that the president was here at all in East Lansing in their community for this historic event. You had to actually shake his hand?
I got to shake his hand. I did.
A simple gesture, MSU senior Tyler Clifford says he'll carry with him forever.
It was special. Like I felt it go through me.
Clifford says, like many in attendance, he went home happy and took a little piece of history with him.
The president also gave a shout out to MSU athletics, pointing out to the success of the Spartan football and basketball teams. In your Money Watch, Janet Yellen will make her first appearance on Capitol Hill this week as head of the Federal Reserve. Yellen will give lawmakers her semi-annual testimony on the state of the economy Tuesday. Wall Street will be listening very closely to her comments to gauge how aggressively the Fed plans to scale back its stimulus program. California lawmakers are proposing legislation that would require smartphones to have a built-in kill switch that would make a stolen or lost device inoperable. The bill would require mobile devices sold in or shipped to California to have the anti-theft devices starting next year. And Google has raced ahead of ExxonMobil as the world's #2 most valuable company. And the internet giant is quickly gaining on #1 Apple. Google's market value is now nearly $390 billion compared to Apple's $457 billion. GasBuddy.com and AAA of Michigan put together state and local gas prices. Gas prices here in Alpena staying consistent this weekend. The highest price for gas in Alpena is coming in at $3.23 at Shell. The lowest is at $3.22 at Admiral. Across the state, the highest gas price is $3.79 in Romulus. The lowest price is coming in at $2.99 in Ann Arbor. There's still much more to come on WBKB News at 11. Jeff Kolb will be in with a look at sports, and we saw some more snow today. I'll be right back to let you know if there's more in the forecast. Stay tuned. Welcome back. It's time now to take a look at the weather. Today the high was 21 degrees. Those lows, still dropping into sub-zero temperatures. Low today was 5 below. Normal high and low for this day is 28 degrees and 11 degrees. Still a little bit lower than those normal temperatures. Record high for this day, 52 degrees. That was back in 1966. Record low was 36 below. That was back in 1934. Sunrise this morning was at 7:44 and sunset this evening around 5:54. And taking a look at the current conditions here in Alpena, currently it's 7 degrees, but with west winds around 6 miles per hour, it really feels like 2 degrees outside. And moving to take a look at our satellite and radar, you can see that most of the snow flurries have moved past us to our east. However, a little bit of snow flurries below us to our south, but it doesn't look like we'll see much more snow in our forecast until possibly tomorrow. But for tonight, mostly cloudy, 2 below for our low, northwest winds around 5 to 10 miles per hour. However, wind chills could get as cold as 13 below. And then moving into tomorrow, we do have a chance of flurries once again. 10 degrees for our high, northwest winds around 10 miles per hour. But once again, cold wind chill temperatures could get as low as 16 below. And then moving into tomorrow night, mostly cloudy, 10 below for our low, still staying in those sub-zero temperatures, northwest winds around 5 miles per hour. And taking a look at the week ahead in our extended weather forecast, it is going to be warming up a tad bit, but that's not here to stay very long. Tuesday will reach a high of 14. We'll see some sunshine both Tuesday and Wednesday. Wednesday will reach a high of 25. Then Thursday and Friday, a chance of snow showers both days. 33 for our high on Thursday. That's going to be feeling pretty good after the temperatures that we've been seeing here in the area. Friday, though, will drop back to a high of 10 degrees. And then Saturday, sunshine again, high of 12 and a low of -1. And now it's time for today's photo of the day. Today's photo was sent by Barb Wiggle of Harrisville. She sends us this photo of the Harrisville Harbor that she took yesterday. What a pretty view. It does make you wonder, though, if that ice is ever going to melt. I don't know about all of you, but I'm definitely getting ready to see some waves and boats out there again. Thank you, Barb, for sending us this photo. If you have a photo that you would like to send us, just email a photo along with a short description to news@WBKB11.com. Your Health Watch, CVS will pull all tobacco products off shelves in its 7,600 stores by October 1st. The pharmacy chain says it will lose an estimated $2 billion in sales, but the company's chief executive says he doesn't think selling cigarettes goes along with the mission of the healthcare company. Several health organizations are praising the move. So is President Obama, who himself struggled to stop smoking. The American Heart Association and the American Stroke Association have issued stroke guidelines for women for the very first time. Experts say women have unique risk factors, including hormones, birth control, and preeclampsia. They also say migraines, depression, and stress also seem to be more common in women. And a new study out of Great Britain finds the number of people taking insulin to treat their type 2 diabetes has tripled over the past 20 years. Researchers say 421,000 people there now use insulin to maintain their blood sugar levels. In national news, Team USA's daredevil snowboarders dominated the new Olympic event of slopestyle. Look away now if you don't want to see the results of today's action on the slopes. CBS's Alfonso Van Marsh reports from Sochi, Russia.
California girl Jamie Anderson soared high to grab Team USA's second gold in the new extreme Olympic sport of snowboarding slopestyle.
It just felt so good to be able to do something that I knew I could do.
Extreme sports star and double gold Olympian Shaun White pulled out of the men's event, calling the course intimidating. White's mom says she is proud of the women taking risks on the slopes.
I think the girls doing what they are, the progression of the sport is just insane.
Organizers say some ticket holders are missing out on great Olympic events because they're not allocating enough time to get through security checks. Sochi officials admit 10% of ticket holders missed events on day one of the games because of poor timekeeping. There were plenty of empty seats at the Mountain Olympic venue where alpine skier Bodie Miller chased gold in the men's downhill. But the five-time Olympic medalist from New Hampshire finished a disappointing 8th.
You want so much for them to win and to just feel that excitement, but on the other hand, you've got to be so proud that they're here.
And you hear that a lot from spectators in Sochi, that the Olympics aren't only about collecting medals, but also about the spirit of friendly competition. Alfonso Van Marsh, CBS News, Sochi.
Russia won its first gold medal today in the new Olympic event of team figure skating. The U.S. took bronze. Well, sports is coming up next, but first Jeff Kolb is here with a preview of what's ahead. Jeff?
Well, Ashley, you'd think after last night's big win, the Pistons would enjoy a calm Sunday. Not the case at all. Detroit making a surprise move. Full details coming up right after this. Plus, the bond shared by two Alpina sisters is in a rare sport continued at home this weekend. Their story coming up here on WBKB. We love the world of sports because it keeps us on our toes. There's almost always big news somewhere. Maurice Cheeks just wishes it wasn't in Detroit this morning. Just 50 games into his first season as the Pistons head coach, and after coaching the team to its best scoring night of the year Saturday, Cheeks was fired by Detroit this morning with the team under 500 and a half game out of the playoffs. Cheeks' assistant John Lawyer will now take over as the interim head coach. Detroit's California-based owner Tom Gores visited the Palace at the start of the month and had expressed his displeasure with the development of his young Pistons. According to a statement to the press published on MLive.com, Gore said of his disappointment with the team, the responsibility does not fall squarely on any one individual, but right now, this change is a necessary step toward turning this thing around. While the Pistons won, Michigan lost yesterday to Iowa, meaning Michigan State could snag first place in the Big Ten all for itself today. Only obstacle being Wisconsin. Get the ice out of there, put the hardcourt in, let's go. Spartans trailed by 8 at half, but Gary Harris on the comeback trail here. However, he'd only go 3 for 20 from the field. Sparty down by 3 inside 2 minutes. Badgers up 5. Travis Trice getting tricky from outside. State down 55-52. Then, hey, yo, Adrian. It's Adrian Payne tying us at 58. We did it. But at the other end, Trayvon Jackson's like, I've seen Rocky. No, you didn't. Game winner with 5 ticks on the clock as the Spartans come up short, 60-58. So the Spartans and Wolverines both falling this weekend. Michigan giving up 80 points in regulation for the first time all year thanks to Iowa. The Hawkeyes caused havoc for the UM offense last time against Iowa. Nick Stauskas had 26 points. That tied a career high. Yesterday he had just 10. Also, Michigan's defense didn't show up at all either, letting the Hawkeyes, who were coming in second to last in the Big Ten in threes, knock down 10 of 17 from behind the arc. Michigan has now dropped 2 of 3 after winning 10 straight.
They were a really good defense. You look at their percentages, they're a really good defensive team, and you saw why today. We'd have to have been incredible with our three-point shooting, and we weren't today with open shots. We didn't get many of them. We had to make them all. And then we had to have good shot selection, which we didn't have early, and then we had the turnovers to start the second half.
Yesterday, Team USA celebrated in Sochi as Utah native Sage Kotzenberg won gold in the first ever Olympic snowboard slopestyle competition. Today, the U.S. celebrating slopestyle again, as you saw earlier, as Jamie Anderson wins the women's gold. USA tied in second with 4 total medals right now. America also earned bronze in the team figure skating event. Norway is still on top with 7 medals. March Madness never rules in Alaska. That's because March is when mushers, the acronym used for mid-union sled haulers or sled dog racers, annually race the Iditarod Trail. Fans of the trail consider the event the last great race on Earth. Mushers are rare in Michigan, but the sport does exist here, and Alpina's 2 known mushers, who are teammates and sisters, were in action here in town this weekend. It's one of the more obscure sports out there, but Amber Eagling and her younger sister Anissa discovered dog sled racing 5 years ago, thanks to their cousin Jake.
His friend got him into it, and we used to go over to his house, and he'd give us rides on the sled sometimes. My little sister got her first team, and I decided, I'll help you with it, and then I ended up liking it, so I got my own.
Now the Eaglings have 2 mushers and 6 race dogs. There's Guinness, Star, Sophie, Caesar, Snow, and Walter. It looks like the dogs are doing all the work, but don't be fooled. The people need to know plenty before getting behind their sleds.
You can bend down so you're like ducked under the sled, and it'll help you with the wind resistance
and how to balance your weight, move your sled around.
When you turn a corner, you're gonna have to lean with it or you'll roll.
You have to kick the sled. You got to know exactly which way to move the sled on what part of the trail.
How they're gonna react when another team passes you.
It's a lot that goes into it on real fast thinking.
The communication isn't always perfect, but the girls and their dogs have certainly become a good team on and off the track and have stuck together through the good times and the bad.
We called her a princess because if it rained, she wouldn't come out of her house.
This weekend was bittersweet for Anissa, racing just over 2 weeks after losing Chloe, the last dog from her original team.
It was hard because she was always there. If you needed help with something, you go to Chloe and she'll teach the other dogs. She'll show you how to do it.
But Amber was there, helping Anissa and her team blaze on in Chloe's honor.
She's like saying positive things about Chloe, remember the good things, not the bad.
Like I said, just remember that. There's plenty of snow up in heaven. She's running.
And Anissa told me she actually wants to hopefully someday race the Iditarod Trail, which, as I was telling you here, 1,100 miles.
Journey. Yeah.
Very long journey. Actually, the racers bring food and other supplies with them on that. So we'll see if she does it.
Well, that's a big goal, but hopefully she can do it.
It'd be very cool to see if she would do it. So.
Oh yeah, I went to the dog sled races too, and that's something I'd never seen before, but it looks like so much fun.
Absolutely. We're not from here, and it's cool to see some different sports.
It is.
So love to see that, and congrats to both the girls. Actually, Anissa finished second, and so congrats to both of them.
Oh, good. Congrats. Well, coming up next on WBKB News at 11, a controversy after a new coffee shop has opened in California, calling itself Dumb Starbucks Coffee. That story after the break. Welcome back. Well, a coffee controversy is brewing in Los Feliz, California, and it's an interesting one. A new shop is calling itself Dumb Starbucks Coffee. The store, calling itself a legit coffee house, features the same logo, look, and colors of the famous Starbucks coffee. Within hours of opening the Dumb Starbucks, the store became a bit of a sensation via social media. 895 followers and counting. The real Starbucks has said this store isn't one of their own and they're looking into it. But can a store call itself Dumb Starbucks without getting into legal trouble? The owners, who remain a mystery, say that by putting the word dumb in front of the logo, it's parody and protected speech. One patron said, "It's dumb and it's free. What more could you ask for?" While they call themselves a legit coffee house, rumors on the web call it performance art, even a TV show or an art gallery. Another patron said the coffee is pretty awful. Despite that, people are waiting in lines up to an hour for the dumb version. More than likely, they are waiting in line for the cup, part novelty, part collector's item.
So can we call it a dumb idea?
Yeah, it's a pretty dumb idea in my opinion, and I don't understand how it works because these people are lining up getting free coffee.
Yeah.
I would think that would be illegal.
I think that it's got to be a good thing, if anything, for Starbucks, because it means that you're implying that Starbucks is smart, but
I guess so. And one of the guys in line, he was like, "I know this is a TV show. I see the camera." I don't know if he really saw a camera or if it's his idea of a TV show, but
who knows?
We'll see. I'm sure something will come up.
Interesting story.
Yeah.
So, and remember, you can read more about all of our broadcast stories and get the scoop on more news items online.
Just visit WBKB11.com for sports, weather, and news updates anytime, day or night.
Or add us on Facebook at facebook.com/WBKBTV.
That's all we have for you tonight. Jeff and I will both be here tomorrow, along with meteorologist Adam Claiborne, tomorrow morning on 11.3. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday night.